Liberia we wear
Okay.
is to honor the legacy of Comrade President Thomas Sankara.
Okay.
So this is the official dress code of Revolutionary Thomas Sankara.
Okay.
So when we wear the beret, we remember his legacy and honor his legacy.
Okay, that's
that's
great.
why we dress the way we dress. We want to remember,
Thanks for the
Sankara
clarity.
was one of the greater leaders on the continent. And he got killed, so we want to remember his legacy, and that's why we dress the way we dress.
Thanks for the clarity. Thanks for the
A lot of
clarity.
people don't know why, but we dress to honor him.
And I think we provided the platform for you to do that today.
Yeah, at least people.
At least they are
that.
aware.
Yeah, I'm not just dressing in an amateur way because I want to be
Or militancy showing.
I'm dressing because we remember and honor the legacy of Thomas Sankara.
We follow the entire confirmation of candidates XYZ. You are not feeling the presidential candidate. Why?
We are not feeling the presidential candidate because we don't think it's appropriate now to do so.
Okay.
Going to elections requires a lot of preparations.
So from that end, you are not prepared?
Yeah, no, we are not prepared, to put a presidential candidate out now because it requires logistics. It required advanced mobilizations. It required dialogue with different actors in the society. Your agenda for the country must be displayed adequately for people to buy into your agenda. So we don't believe 2023 present that atmosphere for the EFFL to be able to feed a candidate. We believe we can try with the legislative elections. If we do well and can have some seat, and then we can use the platform of the legislature to distinguish ourselves and say to the Liberian people, see our conduct in the legislature, allow us to go to the presidency, and the same way we are distinguishing ourselves is the same way we distinguish ourselves, at the presidency. So that's what we intend to do. We're hoping that 2029 can present itself, but for now we narrow our ambition to the legislative elections, and that's why we have, I think, 32 candidates across the country.
How strong are they for respective seats?
Strong in terms of being present on the ground. Yes,
numerical strength, which is very key.
On the ground, but the politics of Liberia, it's not about how popular you are. The politics of Liberia is about how deep your pocket is. So
if you don't have the numbers, how will you win the elections?
You can have the number, but if you don't have the money to give to people, then it becomes challenging. Most time, the case scenario with the presidency.
I don't tend to sorry to say, but I don't tend to, different from the presidency.
Different from the legislative elections. The people usually want to see somebody who will just go around dashing, because you see. But
there are more people historically, that have won elections 2005 from the legislative and sorry to say no affront that they didn't have anything but they won elections.
2005 was different. 2005.
So are you saying now is a different case?
2005 we just came from the war, and then that was the first elections, and a lot of people trusted the democratic process. From 2005 to 2011, most of the people who went to the legislature see the historicity attached. Most time, almost 95% of the people who win to go to the legislature, they end up being defeated in their second term in a bid, simply because.
That's the beauty of democracy.
It's not just the beauty of democracy.
And people will have to make decisions based upon what they've done.
The beauty of democracy is a testament to the fact that people who get elected go and use the legislature as a platform to put money in their pocket and not to serve the people. And that's what most time the people...
Is it what your candidates will do if they are elected?
No. My candidate is not going to do that. We expel you once some money. Look, listen. The EFF is going to be a different political party. If you go to the legislature on the ticket of the EFF and repeat the mistake of the old order, we expel you.
Are they aware of that, or you are saying it?
We told them they signed a behavior bond with our party.
And what is this?
And the behavior bond say clearly, you go to the legislature, you will act in line with our party disciplinary measures.
What are some of them?
You got to distance yourself from corruption. You have to distance.
How will you determine that?
You have to make sure that your policies are in line with the party position on national issue. The party will not say A and you will be on the legislature saying B. We expel you. We are clear about why the EFFL was funded, and we have a clear objective on what we want to achieve for Liberia and how we want to govern the country. officials of our party that act contrary to our norms, we expel you. We have no mercy for that. If it will require that we are only 5
First
persons
offense,
running,
expulsion, first offense, don't you think they'll be too harsh?
that's why most time we provide training for our leaders, because we have no room for mistakes. We must govern ourselves as a political party in line with our international values.
So if you keep expelling at the end of the day, what happens? You have nobody there.
Even if we expel the whole country, we don't care about how people feel about it. It is about setting a measure that people will see certain value. Look, I've said to them every time we go to meeting, if you think that you're man enough and you got your children, you got your wife, and you cannot follow the disciplinary measures of a party, resign tomorrow morning, go to your home where you become man, where you become woman. Once you are in the EFFL as a political party, you must conform to the norms and doctrine of our party.
You have 32 candidates. How many females you've got?
No, we didn't have female candidate. That's disappointing on our part. Most of our female decided not to participate in the election.
Were they encouraged enough?
We encouraged them, but a lot of them said the party just got certificated. They want to go through the doctrine of the party. We should give them time to get exhausted.
Don't you think that is a manners for you?
No, it's a manner. We acknowledge that there's a manner on our part. We needed to have some of our female fighters on the ticket, but how be it? We will prepare them for the next election.
We will prepare them for the next election. Stop talking CRC Economic Freedom Fighters of Liberia. Emmanuel Gonkwe is our guest in studio, and we are discussing politics, generally national issues. We're taking this break. When we come back, we ask him why, as one of the candidates in Mangibi County, why he wants to be a senator of Mangibi County, right after this break. Talk. This is your most informative and educative show that brings you face to face with the experts and national leaders to discuss trending national issues, be it politics, education, health, agriculture, human interest, and a lot more. Join your host, Julius Compton, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. for the program Boss Talk, showing live on Satcom Channel 4. Boss Talk. This is your most informative and educative show that brings you face to face with the experts and national leaders to discuss trending national issues, be it politics, education, health, agriculture, human interest, and a lot more. Join your host, Julius Compton, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. for the program Boss Talk, showing live. Many thanks for rejoining us, and this is the program Boss Talk on Boss Television. We are talking real boss issues here, and our guest is Emmanuel Gonkwe. Some of the parties looking at since 2005 up to present, they've got some attachments and some root, if you will, political stronghold, and that they can say, hey, for example, if you say Unity Party, for example, you say Lofa County. You say Liberty Party, for example, you say Grand Bassa. CDC, for example, you say the Southeast. Monserrato arguably has been a stronghold of the opposition based upon results from 2005 up to present. What is the stronghold of the EFFL?
I think the stronghold of the EFFL is Mangibi County, where I'm contesting as a senator. It is my anticipation that we will win and provide leadership.
Is it because he contesting there makes it a stronghold, or
it is not?
How did he arrive at that?
No, it is not because we are contesting there. It is because number of events that we have done, in that county have shown, the numbers in terms of how people respond to the call of the party. So we building Mangibi County as our stronghold, and knowing that Mangibi is connected to Monserrato. So if we can continuously build on the gains that we've made in Magibi and then transition that to Moserado County, then our objective will be met.
Okay.
In terms of being one of the largest political party. Right now, we're fighting to make sure that, if we are not among the best 4, we should be among the best 5. And that's what we're fighting, and we have that going across our candidates and letting them know that we have to put our boots on the ground and continue to campaign. I've always said to them, let not the result of this particular election determine what you want to achieve in 2029 or what you want to achieve for your districts in the future.
Okay.
Let's see this process as a learning curve. A young political party, this is our first time going to elections. We got certificated in January. The timing for preparation was so low. So
will you use that as an excuse just in case?
It's not an excuse, but it's reality. We got certificated in January. We were more focused on combating the government to become a political party than preparing for elections. Because 2020, remember,
but is it the government who gives you the right to become a political party or the NEC?
The NEC was influenced by the government.
Wow, that's a wild allegation. We just cannot go to that.
The NEC was influenced by the government because
the NEC is an independent body.
Listen, I don't.
By professional people who are doing independent work.
Listen, by people, they are professional body, independent body, by people.
So are you discrediting them? But you are contesting the election, though. You already started discrediting.
NEC knows that I don't mince my words. The commissioner and NEC know that I don't mince my words. I'm not one of the guys that sugarcoat things. I say it as I see. I don't care about how.
Saying it is one thing, the reality or the facts behind it.
It's always attached to reality. I'm saying to you, NEC is controlled by the executive actions. Though by people's and constitutional status, there should be an independent body, but they are controlled by the executive.
You are the face of the EFFL. Someone who say, why didn't you sit back, give the instructions, decide who to be what from your structure, but you are into the elections process? Because
I'm the flag bearer of the party. I believe that I understand the fundamental that is attached to our doctrines and principles as EFF on the continent. I believe I can appropriately communicate the doctrines and philosophy of our party, and I've demonstrated that across the continent whenever I'm on a foreign mission. That one time I was in South Africa. I mean, without any form of boasting or grandstanding, among the rest of the other EFF leaders, I was privileged to have spoken to many of the top media institutions in South Africa, to ask me about my view and perspective of politics on the continent and the way I see politics in Liberia. That speaks to my capacity and understanding of global events. So I think I can adequately represent the party. That's why the leaders of the party decided that I form a part of a team that will be competing for the Senate. And that's why I think we have 2, senatorial candidates, one in Kidman, and then
Mangibi, the House of Elders, the Senate. Tell us, what are some of, with the exception of your advocacy, which you spoke of, which people are aware about, 100%.
Yeah.
What are some of the tangibles? Do you say it just been confirmed, commissioned in January? What have you done? What have EFFL done in Mangibi County for which the people should trust you?
Judah, I always say to people,
you've been there for them in what way?
I always say to people, what we need the most and what the public needs the most
is what?
Is leaders who will position themselves to draw the line between what the public should access and what they as individuals should access. I think nobody in this country is richer than the central bank, or nobody in this country is richer than the government.
What do you mean by?
Nobody can do development more than the government would do. The government is exposed to all of the resources. What is lacking in this country is the fact that we have not been able to manage what we have. I always say to people, almost 30% of the national budget, we lose it to corruptions. So when you see the appetite for public service, When you see people wanting to be lawmaker, you see people wanting to be president, it's because of the corruptions in the.
So you're saying that you two want to go there and do the same thing?
No. I said to you earlier that the EFFL as a political party will never repeat the mistakes of the old order.
Okay.
We will never repeat the mistake of the elites.
On paper?
We are clear about that.
Implementation was.
We are clear about that. Julius, I live in this country as a young person. Up to now, 15 years of politics. Nobody, you're witness of that. Nobody can say, Gonga was caught in the corrupt eye.
Maybe because we've not taken state power.
There are young people in the country in politics, Julius, that many times we have to accuse them of blackmailing people. They have to accuse them of doing this, but nobody can point to anything that Gonga was involved in this. I tried my best.
Have you been offered a job?
Of course, I've been offered many times. Many times, but I tried my possible.
Why you refused?
Because I don't want to take instruction from any corrupt president.
Wow. Mangibi County is a very big county. You're contesting to be a senator of that county. What are some of the things you've seen that are lacking that you can close the gap?
Well, one thing I noticed that Mangibi is one of the few counties in the Republic of Liberia that have the opportunity to have annual county development fund in good package. They receive money from bond mines. They receive money from SRC. They receive money from Firestone. But mixed appropriations of these funds continue to skyrocket. And we believe that we can put a stop to it. Mangibi might be big, but not too big. The country sometimes receive up to 500 to 600,000 US dollars. But you cannot point to significant projects, that the county can boast of. You go across the county. I was in Petertown the other day, and the complaint is that the community health center, there's no single paracetamol, for anybody to take. Renee Hospital, was gutted by fire. Up to now, we're still waiting for government to put a single bricks on the ground. When the county just, a few months ago received 475,000 US dollars. I thought, as leader of the county, the caucus will have, use that money as part of the contribution they could make to rebuilding Renee hospitals, and then put pressures on the national government to complete the project.
There was huge issues of corruption there at the health. What was your intervention?
In fact, at some point, we issued a statement that there should be house arrest for those who were involved, and then a lot of people absconded the county because of the threat, of house arrest. Because I told the county to arrest those who were involved, and that's how we do our politics. When the government fails to act, then we move into act. We feel strongly that the government should have arrested those involved, but up to now, no investigation. The Ministry of Health talk about investigation, no investigation, and the
investigation is ongoing according to reports.
I'm not sure the investigation ongoing.
Have you made some follow-ups with that?
I'm not sure of that. Investigation is nowhere near. The government sometimes make these statements, to calm situations.
You think so?
To calm.
But that was a very serious issue.
Yeah, they just calm the situation because most of the people at the Ministry of Health were involved into that scandal.
How did you get to know about that?
Yeah, our people say.
Did you do any fast funding?
Fast funding. In fact, one of the whistleblower, were more than confiding in us and telling us what actually transpired.
What did he say?
We needed to protect his security, but we know for sure that nothing as such, investigation is going on, Julia. That people just made a statement to calm the situation. That's what we always say, that corruption is a way of life in Liberia. Until we can stop corruption, this country will not go anywhere. To lose 30% of your national budget to corruption is something terrible. Millions of dollars go in the hands of individuals, and we keep enriching few people in politics, and the rest of the other citizens live in poverty. I continue to say, look, I'm not in politics for money. I've made one commitment to myself. if I have to ride good car and live a luxury life, it should be that I'm getting money from business and not from politics. And I've committed myself to the people of my community that if I succeed to be senator, part of the example I'm going to set is that I will ask the national government to pay my salary to the candidate account. I don't need money.
You sure of that?
I'm
some of the things you are saying, I'm sorry, but these are things that others say.
No.
They said that in the past, and they said they wouldn't ride big cars, do luxurious things. By the end of the day, it's the opposite. We are seeing that now, and you are saying the same thing.
Julius, it is evidential that I'm not a guy with luxury. I don't believe in luxury.
It's because if not been attracted.
No. Julius, if you go to my house, I'm a simple guy. People see me outside, sometimes they think that I'm some kind of Google man, but the way I talk, the way I address things, the fear posture that I put. But I'm a nice guy. And I've always said to people, I want to sell a legacy in public politics. I want to make sure that young people see themselves as that leader that a country can depend on. I'm committing myself once again. I've said to people every day, I will not take salary is different from, I will not ride a zero car.
There are people.
And let me say this to you.
Mm-hmm.
There are reasons why people make some of the commitments and then they don't follow up to them, because our people say, what in your hand, drop it, but what in your blood, you can never drop it because it's in your blood. We are ideological people. We are progressive forces. We understand what it is to be a socialist. We should be for the people, not for ourselves. And that's why we humbled ourselves in what we do. I'm saying to you, I'm committed to the Julius. I'm passionate about Liberia. I want to see a better country. 170 years old country, Julius, so sad. Mm-hmm. We are still sending people to India.